You're not lazy. You're exhausted from racing everyone's timeline. Every morning you scroll and feel behind. Promotions, houses, trips, perfect smiles. You work hard, yet your chest stays heavy. Here's the truth. Comparison is a silent thief, and it's robbing your peace. Meet Ethan, 33, stuck in the same loop. Rush to work, rush to catch up, rush, and still feel late. But one quiet night, he makes one strange choice that rewires his life. If you've ever thought, "Am I too slow?" comment 1 right now. Ethan's mornings didn't start with sunlight, they started with a warning. The alarm hit too early, his hand shot out too fast, and his mind was already sprinting before his feet touched the floor. Coffee? Rushed. Breakfast? Half chewed. Bus? Always almost missed. Even when he finally sat down, his body was still, but his thoughts kept running laps. In the office, the air felt clean and bright, yet somehow heavier than traffic. Screens glowed, keyboards clicked, and the clock on the wall ticked like a judge counting down his life. Then came the quiet poison, other people's wins. A coworker got promoted, another posted keys to a new house, someone else smiled in a foreign country like time was infinite. Ethan liked the photos. Ethan congratulated them. Ethan even smiled. But later, alone, his chest tightened. Not from work, from comparison. He compared salaries, he compared lifestyles, he compared timelines. And at night, staring at the ceiling with his phone inches from his face, one question returned like a hammer. Am I too slow? He wasn't failing, he was just measuring his life with someone else's ruler. At night, Ethan's apartment felt too quiet, yet his head was louder than the city. He lay on his bed with the lights off, phone glowing like a small doorway into everyone else's better life. He told himself he was just relaxing, but he wasn't resting. He was checking the scoreboard. One more scroll. One more success story. One more engagement ring. One more "I just hit 6 figures" post. And with every swipe, something inside him sank deeper. Like his life was a train he'd missed and couldn't chase down. He tried to sleep, but the question kept circling back, sharper each time. Am I too slow? His chest felt tight, not from illness, not from heartbreak, but from pressure without a face. Pressure to be ahead, pressure to prove he mattered, pressure to match a timeline nobody promised him. The worst part? Ethan wasn't doing nothing. He was working, he was showing up, he was responsible, yet it still felt like he was losing. Because comparison doesn't just steal joy, it steals breath. And that night, after another long, exhausting day, Ethan realized he couldn't go straight home like this anymore. He needed air. He needed silence. He needed something, anything that wasn't a race. After another brutal day, Ethan walked to the bus stop like always, on autopilot, jaw tight, thoughts loud. The bus arrived with a hiss of air and bright interior lights. People stepped in fast, like they were afraid of being left behind. Ethan didn't move, not because he was confused, because for the first time in a long time, he listened to himself. He watched the doors stay open for a moment, then he turned away. He started walking. At first, the city followed him. Neon signs, engine noise, footsteps, screens in every window. But with each block, the sound softened. The crowds thinned. The pressure in his chest loosened just a little, like someone finally stopped squeezing. You'll understand this. Sometimes the smartest move isn't to push harder, it's to step out of the noise and take control back. If you've ever felt that, drop a quiet 1 in the comments. At the edge of the city, Ethan noticed an old park most people ignored. The gate was rusty, paint peeled like tired skin. He pushed it open and stepped inside. Wet soil, old leaves, tall trees standing still like they had all the time in the world. And for the first time that day, Ethan slowed down. Inside the park, the city felt far away, like someone turned the volume down on life. Ethan walked slower without trying. His shoulders dropped. The air smelled like wet soil and old leaves. Crickets sang softly, steady, unbothered. Then he saw it. A small turtle crossing the path, moving so slowly it almost looked still. Ethan stopped and watched, half amused, half annoyed, because his brain was trained to hate anything that didn't hurry. A broom scraped softly behind him. Ethan turned and saw an old man in a faded jacket sweeping fallen leaves as if he had nowhere else to be. The man's movements were slow, steady, almost stubbornly calm. He noticed Ethan staring at the turtle and gave a small, knowing smile. "Most people hate that little one," the man said. Ethan exhaled. "It's painfully slow." The caretaker leaned on his broom. "Fast feet don't always reach far." Ethan frowned, like his mind wanted to argue, but his chest already understood. The man nodded toward the turtle. "It's been here for years. Storms, heat, noise. It's still here, still moving, still peaceful." Ethan watched the turtle slip into the pond without fear. No rush, no doubt, just trust. And for the first time in months, Ethan felt something unfamiliar: silence without pressure. That night, Ethan didn't rush home. He didn't open his phone the second he hit the couch. He just sat, quietly, letting the caretaker's words echo like a soft bell in his mind. Fast feet don't always reach far. For once, the silence didn't feel empty. It felt clean. He lay in bed and noticed how often his life had been driven by one invisible whip, other people's timelines, not his values, not his direction, just noise. His hand hovered over the phone, then stopped. Ethan turned the screen face down, and in the dark, a new question rose, gentle but powerful enough to change everything. What if I don't need to hurry? Not how do I win faster, not how do I catch up, just what if my life is allowed to unfold at my pace without guilt? He exhaled, slow and deep. For the first time in a long time, he fell asleep without racing. Nothing magical happened the next morning. The world didn't slow down for Ethan, so he chose to slow down inside it. He still woke up with responsibilities, still had deadlines, still felt that old itch to catch up. But now he started making small, deliberate choices, the kind disciplined people make, not the kind desperate people make. He stopped checking social media every hour because he finally understood you don't need updates on other people's lives to build your own. He worked one task at a time instead of doing 10 things poorly while panicking. He began learning a new skill, slowly, consistently, without demanding instant results. Some days he slipped back into rushing, of course, but he didn't punish himself. He reset. He remembered the turtle, steady, calm, still moving forward. If you're the kind of person who's tired of chaos and ready for real progress, comment a quiet 1. Not for me, for you. Because slow doesn't mean stuck. Slow means controlled. Slow means focused. Slow means you finally stopped letting the world hold the whip. Weeks passed. Not the kind of weeks that look impressive on social media. No sudden promotion, no dramatic glow-up, no viral moment. But something real was happening. Ethan's mind felt quieter. He showed up with more presence, less panic. He stopped sprinting through his days and started finishing what he began, cleanly, consistently. His work didn't get faster. It got better. One afternoon, his manager called him in. Ethan expected criticism. Instead, he heard something that surprised him. "I trust you," his manager said. "You're steady. You don't collapse under pressure." More responsibility followed, not as a reward for speed, but for reliability. Ethan walked home that evening under the same city lights, but the weight in his chest was different now, lighter. Not because life got easy, but because he stopped trying to outrun it. And for the first time, progress didn't feel like a chase. It felt like ownership. Ethan returned to the park on a quiet morning, not because he was broken this time, but because he wanted to remember. The rusty gate still complained when he pushed it open. The trees still stood tall, unmoved by anyone's urgency, and the air still smelled like wet soil and old leaves. Near the pond, he saw the turtle again. It moved the same way it always had. Slow, steady, unbothered. No anxiety, no comparison, no need to prove anything. It simply kept going. Ethan smiled, not at the turtle, but at the lesson it carried. Life isn't a race. Rushing breaks the mind. Patience builds the life. He watched the water ripple, and he realized something simple and final. He didn't need to run to be worthy. He just needed to move forward, at his pace, without shame. If you feel behind, listen closely. You're not late. You're just tired of running someone else's race. Your life doesn't need speed. It needs direction, peace, and consistency. Remember the turtle. Slow steps still move forward. Tonight, do one thing with intention. Close the comparison tab. Breathe. Write the next small step and take it. If this hit you, leave a quiet 1 in the comments. Not to impress anyone, just to remind yourself you're choosing steady over panic, progress over pressure, and your pace over their timeline.